Hello friends, today in this tutorial I will be talking about JavaScript ES6 functions, variables and arrays. This will be a complete crash course and we will be looking at a very examples inside JavaScript. So this will be a complete crash course. So let's start the tutorial. So basically guys, inside JavaScript, as you all know, the variables can be declared by three keywords, three reserved keywords, which is called as let keyword and var keyword and also const keyword. So these are the three reserved keywords which are there inside JavaScript, guys, with the help of which you can declare variables inside JavaScript. So we will be looking at both the examples of declaring variables with these three keywords, which is the recommended one and which has got various advantages, disadvantages of various using these three keywords, which is let, var and const. So first of all, guys, we will be declaring the variable with let keyword. So basically, if you declare the keyword with let keyword, guys, you will now see user, and basically if I declare Gautam here, you will now see it will hold the value Gautam, and basically we can console log the value which is user. So basically, guys, if you declare this value, and let me declare the value with name, and this will be John, and constant, and which will be called as username, and this will be Smith. So you can see that, guys, we have declared the variables with let, var and const, and let me console log this, basically name and username. So basically if you refresh it, guys, in the console, you will now see what will happen here. It will print out the values of all these three variables, which is Gautam, John and Smith. So let's suppose, guys, if I change this value of a constant variable in JavaScript. So let's suppose if I want to change the value in JavaScript, what will happen? So with constant variables, guys, this is as you all know, it's a constant variable. It is declared by the const keyword. If you try to change its value, let's suppose I change the value in the next line to, let's suppose, Kane. So in this case, if you console log it, guys, it will show you this error, guys, inside the console that constant variables can't be changed. You will see assignment to a constant variable, and on this line here, you can see that, guys, we have declared this JavaScript variable with this const keyword, and it is telling me in the console that assignment to a constant variable, the value can't be changed. So this is the thing, guys, you need to check here. You can't reassign the value to a constant variable. So whenever you declare a constant variable in JavaScript, its value remain constant. So this value will be constant throughout the program. You can't change this value. So this is the first advantage of using constant variables, guys. So from the name itself, these constant variables doesn't change the value throughout the program. So that's why these constant variables are used to store the API keys. So if you want to have a API key, you can store the API key here. That will remain constant throughout the program. So you can store this API key, and basically you can console log it. So in this case, guys, the very first advantage of using constant variables is that their value doesn't change throughout the course of the program. So this is the only advantage of using constant variables, guys, you can now see. So every time if you so now we will be talking about the scope of these variables, guys. The scope, it is global scope. Basically these variables are declared as at a global scope. So if you want to declare a function here, a function, let me declare it printed hello world. So basically, guys, in this function, if I try to access this variable, which is console log, if I say user, so what you will find out, guys, as this is global variables, it is accessible inside this function. So global variables are accessible throughout the program, so they can be used at any location of the program. So it is available inside this function hello world. So if you call this function, guys, basically if I call this hello world, So what will happen now, basically it will alert out the value of this constant variable, which is Gautam. You can now see. So basically this is the advantage of using global scoped variables, guys. So here the scope is global, so it can be accessed at any location of the time. Some comments are there. So Alex Gaming is saying hi, Paus is saying thank you. Please hit the like button, guys. Subscribe the channel as well if you're watching it for the very first time. That I am seeing that people have not hit that like button. 0 likes are there, so hit that like button, subscribe the channel. So this is the global scope, guys. It can also be there inside a function as well. So let's suppose we have a function, we have a local scope here. So let's suppose we declare a local scope variable, let's suppose Gautam Sharma. So now if I alert out the user, guys, so what it will print? It will print out this user or this user. This is a question. Can you answer it in the chat? Basically this is a local scope, this is a functional scope, and this is a global scope. So these questions are very much important for JavaScript interview, guys. These are very basic questions and you need to know the basics of JavaScript. What is scope, what is variable, what is function, what is global scope, what is local scope. All these questions are very much important. So can you tell me what is the difference between global scope and local scope? So if I run this function, which user it will print? Either it will print the Gautam or Gautam Sharma. Tell me in the comment section, guys. Let me run this program. So if I run this, you will now see it will print out the local variable which is declared within this function, which is user variable. Though the variable name is same, but yeah, local scope has more priority over global scope. That's correct and correctly said by Rudy RDX. That is the difference that you need to understand. Global scope, basically local variables used because scope chaining. Basically whenever you declare a variable within a function, that becomes important as compared to the global variable that is declared outside a function. So let's suppose this variable was not declared, so in that case it will take the global variable. In that case Gautam will be printed out, but in this case we have declared this variable, so it has taken the memory. So then it has taken the memory and basically it has declared this variable, so that's why it will print out this variable. So this is the local scope. So now, guys, this is scopes here. Basically there are various scopes out there: global scope, local scope, and also there are functions as well. If you see this function, which is called as anonymous function, if you see, I think this is anonymous function. If I show you, let me show you what is I meant by this. So basically, guys, this function will automatically execute. If I say hi, so this function will automatically execute. This is called as anonymous function. So basically we are calling this function, as you can see here, with this parentheses, and this is, we haven't given the name to this function, that's why it is called as anonymous function without the name. So if for a normal function we need to give that name to the function, let's suppose hello world, but in this case you will see we have just written the keyword function and then we are calling it after it like this in parentheses. So if you just open with live server, you will see hi will be printed out. This is called as anonymous function, you will now see. So basically if I remove this parentheses, this function will not be executed. You will now see this is not executed. So immediately call function expression, not anonymous, immediately call expression function. ICF, immediately call function expression. So these functions are also very used, and here you can write your usual code here. If you write code outside this function, basically what will happen now, if you open with live server, if you go to your console and you will see Gautam will be printed out as usual. So basically it's just a function immediately call function. So if you want to execute the function when the page loads, you can write the code inside this function which will immediately execute. So this is one function. Next we come, guys, you can read more about it. Basically you can write here what are the different scopes in JavaScript. So basically just go to Google and just type here what are different scopes in Google. So there is basically three scopes out there, which is global scope, function scope, and block scope. So there is also a term which is called as block scope, guys. So basically if you put a set of parentheses, basically this is called as a block scope. So let's suppose here we have declared a variable called as username, and here we are accessing and printing out the value of username here. And if I try to access this username outside this block, so what will happen now if you run this application, you will now see if you go to console here. So basically it will first of all print the value John here, and in the second line it will say username is not defined. So this is called as block scope, which is the example here. Basically block is nothing but a set of parentheses, and this is a block. We can also have multiple blocks out there. So the variables declared inside these blocks have block scopes out there. This can another like this, you can console log username like this. So please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well, guys. So you can see we can have multiple blocks, and inside that multiple blocks, guys, we can have multiple variables. So then we will have a global block here which will be like this. So if you now try to execute this here, basically if you go to the inspect element, and now you can see John, Smith, Kane, and DFFDF. All these variables are different, guys, because they are declared in a different blocks out there. So this is block scope. So we have discussed all the three scopes out there, guys, which is block scope and function scope and global scope. So which is the best scope, I will tell you, guys. I will rank them. So basically the first scope I like it is the function scope, which is the scope in which the variables are only valid in their respective function. Then comes the block scope, and thirdly you need to inside the global scope. So you need to prevent declaring global variables, guys. So global variables are not good for the application. You need to minimize the use of global variables. You don't need to declare every variable as global, because this increases problems. Because let's suppose you have declared so much global variables, then they can be accessible at any location. So it is not good for the security of the application. So you need to be declaring variables at the functional scope and block scope. So let's suppose I take example here. So let's suppose I declared two variables right here, username, which is empty by default, and password. So let's suppose two functions are modifying these global variables. So first will be change username. So here we are modifying the value of username to K. And now if you try to access this username, console log it, and there is another function which is change username, or we can simply say validate username. So in this case also, guys, we are modifying it. So basically let's suppose I change it to Smith. So when I just basically do this, guys, if I call these functions change username and change validate username, So as you know guys, the code will execute in a serial way. This function will be executed first, followed by this function. So what will happen now? First the username will be empty by default, then it will change to Kane, and then it will change to Smith. So basically the correct value will not be preserved. So here if I console log it, if I console log username, if we declare a global and local with the same name, if local value is not present, it can take global value because of scope chaining, which is not expected. Yeah, definitely. Global variables are a very problem for the application. You can see Kane, and then again it is modified by the second function, which is Smith. So now the username value is Smith. So in many situations guys, we make problems declaring so many functions inside of our applications which modifies the actual global variables. So that's why global variables are a problem. So global variables are good for declaring constant variables, such as for storing API keys or some sensitive information. For those variables you can declare global variables, and as you know, with constant variables the value can't be changed. So if you try to modify the value, then automatically this will throw the error to you in the console. So constant variables are very much secure as compared to the let and var keywords. And the difference between let and var guys, basically these are the two keywords which declare the variables. Let is the most modern way. It uses in ES6 JavaScript. Basically it's a new keyword, but var is the old one. It stands for variable. So it totally up to you which you want to use it, but in modern development of JavaScript, I would highly recommend that you use let keyword, not the var keyword. Var keyword is outdated and it is not used by developers. And in modern JavaScript, let keyword is the recommended way to declare variables in our application. I rarely use var keyword in any sort of project, and it has its own disadvantages, which is var keyword. If you just Google the result here, basically let versus var, which is better, you will find out more articles here basically telling us the differences. Basically if you declare a variable which is not declared, this will throw this value to you which is undefined. But if you do the same thing with you, but it with x, then it will show you the actual error, that is cannot access x before initialization. So the error reporting is also very great. Let me show you. Basically let versus var, which one is good. So if you do the same thing, let's suppose we want to access console log x. So basically these are the we declare x to 5, and then we console log x, and then we declare basically console log y, let to y. So you will now see guys, the errors is totally different. If you check the console here with the var and let, basically in the var keyword the value comes out to be undefined. Basically it is not good error reporting, but in case of let keyword, it basically tell you the line number in which the error is taking place, and also it is saying that cannot access y before initialization. So in this case guys, you can definitely I would highly recommend that you use the let keyword in order to declare variables. Var has problem like hoisting, yeah. Various hello Shiksha, where I can find your previous tutorials from the beginner and where to start. So I have numerous tutorials, numerous live streams of JavaScript crash courses available on the channel. So you can just search JavaScript coding section and all the videos and live streams will come. So I explain the concept in a very detailed manner, so you will find out all the concept. Please hit the like button subscribe the channel as well, guys. Hoisting, you are saying. Basically, hoisting is the same thing. Basically, you are accessing the value which is not declared. This is obviously it is called as hoisting. Every keyword is giving different errors. So basically, this is called hoisting. You are trying to access a variable or a function which is not declared here. So you can see X is not declared. We are trying to access this. So this is called as hoisting. This is same for the functions as well. So if you want to call a function which is not declared, so let's suppose we declared a function. If you want to access a function here, hello world, before after the this function is not declared. So basically, so you are declaring this function but this is not declared, so you will get an error. It will be printed out. I think you need to declare it beforehand. Guys, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. I'm seeing that people are not liking the content. Only I think it is very few likes are there, and you guys are not liking the content. It's very unfortunate that you are not appreciating the effort that I'm putting on these live streams. So kindly hit the like button, guys. Only 7 likes are there, so please hit the like button. And can you tell me, Alex Gaming or any Pro Gaming Sanjay Gupta, what is the hosting for the function? I have shown you the hosting for a variable. Can you tell me the hosting for a function? How the functions are declared here basically inside JavaScript. So basically, if I try to access a variable, sorry, function which is not declared, so what will happen? So if I go to inspect element, you will now see hello world is not defined. It is called hosting, or I am just missing some kind of term here. You can now see we have declared this, but we haven't initialized this function. This is a very important concept for interview questions. If you want to say hoisting, you will now see this is the hoisting. So hosting is JavaScript default behavior of moving declarations to the top. So basically all the declarations of the variables functions need to be present at the very top. So if you see here, assign 5 to X. For the variables, it's very easy. Basically, if you're trying to access a variable, trying to initialize a variable before declaring it, maybe you should start making your community in Discord for your subscribers, so we can ask question there or we can help each other. How can we make the Discord community? Can you just tell me? I don't know about Discord. So if you try to console log X, so now guys, you can see that 5 is printed out. This is the variable which is the thing, guys. You can now see console log x. Basically it is printed out without the declaration. Hoisting is declaration of JS elements variables before using it. Hello friends, today in this tutorial we are talking about hoisting. So if you are watching it for the very first time, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. 20 people are watching the stream, guys, so please hit the like button, subscribe the channel. You can see only 9 likes are present right here. It is not great. Please hit the like button, subscribe करिए चैनल को, guys. Hit करिए like के बटन को, subscribe भी करिए चैनल को. आप देख रहे हैं JavaScript. We are watching JavaScript, guys. We are explaining the concepts in detail. So it's a very good opportunity to learn JavaScript, guys, the basic concepts such as variables. Now I will be tackling the arrays, an object. What is our arrays and objects inside JavaScript, guys? So basically arrays are nothing but, guys, special variables which can hold multiple values. So we can have users, it can be an empty array. So now to declare the empty array, there are multiple options inside JavaScript. This is the very first option with the square brackets. So this signifies that this is a array variable. So this is an array variable. Basically this signifies. So basically now we need to, it can also be declared like this. So let's suppose we want to declare a, let's suppose users, new array, and we need to declare 5 array here like this. This can also be console log user if you say. So what will happen now if you console log it? Basically if you inspect element, what will happen? So it will have an array of 5 records. The length will be 5 and each record will be empty. If you try to access the individual record, guys, if you console log user, and then you will provide the index number inside the square bracket. So if you want to access the very first element of the array, you will put 0, because the indexing here, the indexing of array in programming, guys, starts from 0. So the counting starts from 1, guys, but in programming the indexing starts from 0. This is somewhat unusual thing, but yeah, in programming the indexing starts from 0 of arrays. That's why here you will put here 0. So if you try to access the first element, guys, basically subtract 1 from it. So this is the formula, 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. This is the index number. You can see we are accessing it. So it is coming out to be undefined, guys, because we haven't have any value. So now we can fill out the entries there. There is a method which is called as fill, and if I want to fill out static values, I will put here 0. So it will fill out 0 at all the locations in the array. So if I try to console log it inside inspect element, go to console, you will see 0 is printed out. So if I try to print out the whole array, guys, we will use a for each loop, which is very much important loop here. We will put the array name, which is user, and for each user we will print the value like this. Console log user like this. So basically if you refresh it, guys, the value will be seen here, console. So 5 times 0 will be printed out. You can now see this is the same value, guys. You can now see, and basically we can even fill out it with the random values as well. So basically here we can fill out let's suppose we have an array here, and basically we can initialize the user to date.now plus like this. So now if you try to access the array, basically this will contain random values. If you try to console log user, so the first array is used to initialize the values, guys, then we are printing out the values. So if you try to now run this application, Please hit the like button guys, subscribe the channel, and tell me where are you watching from this stream, where are you watching, and how you find out this stream. My name is Gautam and I am from India, Delhi. So where are you from watching this stream? Also tell me in the comment section. It's very good to connect with you guys, so please hit that like button, subscribe the channel as well. So ES6 is the modern syntax of JavaScript guys. So basically ES6 is the modern syntax. It would, if you see here, if you just type here JavaScript ES6, you will JavaScript ES6. This is the latest syntax of JavaScript. ECMAScript. ES stands for, if you just say ES stands for, it stands for ECMAScript. It's another official name for JavaScript since the organization ECMA International created the standard. So this is ES6 and it was released in 2015. So if you see ES6 released in which year? So if you put the release date here, it was released in 17th of June 2015. So it almost I think 7 years old syntax we are talking about. So it's a modern syntax ES6. And basically if you put the ES6 methods list here, so there are various methods out there, ES6 array methods, functional methods. All these methods are very much important. I am from Philippines, South Africa. I've been seeing you in my YouTube recommendations. I decided to try out today. You are doing well. So thank you for watching from South Africa. Also hit the like button, subscribe the channel so that all the videos notifications can come to your mobile phone and you can watch the videos. So basically all these methods are part of the ES6 module guys, so it's very good. So ES6 arrays, what you built, Tawfiq is asking. Basically we are discussing about arrays, variables, functions, scopes inside JavaScript, which is very much important question for interviews, campus placement, all that stuff. So we are discussing that in this live stream. So if you have any sort of question, you can ask in the comment section. So array destructuring guys, basically destructuring, we will also destructuring array of objects. So destructuring is a very important concept guys. Basically what is called as destructuring. This is a method one, destructuring. What is meant by destructuring? So as you declared an array guys, it contains 3 elements, JavaScript, Python, Go. So these 3 are string variables, and we can even declare the array by this syntax as well, and by individually we can assign the values, second array 0, 1, 2, like this. This is the first way and this is the second way. This is the most modern way by which you can declare arrays here. Totally up to you which syntax you need to follow. So basically what is an object in JavaScript? Object is nothing but a key value pairs. Basically it is declared in a set of curly brackets, and we have a key parameter which is name, Toyota, color black, year 2022, engine type. This is a JavaScript object. Will you continue this JavaScript tutorial till we can build our website or something else, or just the basic? In this specific tutorial we are just discussing the basic concepts and tutorials. We are not discussing how to build a website, but we are discussing only the concepts, only the theory of concepts that is required for understanding the JavaScript code. So basically guys, this is the JavaScript object. Similarly we can even have a JSON object as well. The difference between JavaScript object and a JSON object guys, basically if I show you the difference, just paste the same object here, just change it to JSON object. So now the difference is that guys, this key parameter also will have this this is also a string like this. I'll put this. So now this is a valid JSON object. This is a JavaScript object and this is a JSON object. So what is destructuring, guys? So basically destructuring is nothing but um, like this. So let's suppose we have an array. Let me tell you what is destructuring. What is destructuring? Destructure of arrays and objects. So let's suppose we have an object, guys, users. So in this we have a set of users, which is Kane, Smith, and Russell, and Pollard. So we have a 4 user guys here. You can see Kane, Smith, Russell, Pollard. What app do you use for programming? I basically used YouTube for my learning. I daily watch some YouTube videos related to programming, and it become a very good programmer. Also, you should follow YouTube. So now destructure the values, guys, the values that we need. So we will simply say here like this. We will say, we will put write this here. So now to get the first and the second element, guys, we will simply say he is using VS Code. Oh, sorry, that way he's asking which code editor. Basically, this is Visual Studio Code text editor. This is a top editor for programming. And if you want to destructure, guys, you will simply say I want the first element and the second element from the users array, and then basically you can console log first comma second. This is called as destructuring of arrays. So if you now open with live server, basically, guys, what will happen, if you go to inspect element, you can see Kane is printed out and Smith is printed out. If you want to get the third and the fourth variable, what you will say is that you will say third and fourth. So in this way, guys, this is destructuring. It's very important concept, guys. You should definitely know it. In applications, we use these concepts in importing the functions and objects. So destructuring simply means that only accessing the information that you need. So you can see again Kane and Smith has been there. Can you suggest any best YouTube channel where we can learn web development? No doubt you are best. No, I am not the best. I am just the average YouTube channel, but there are best YouTube channel that I follow, which is Traversy Media, Web Dev Simplified, and Fireship. It's very awesome channels for programming, guys. It is all in English language, but they are the best. And for if you're looking specifically for Hindi, India Code with Harry is the best. He explains the concept of JavaScript in pure detail. Python, he also teaches all the programming languages. And basically, yeah, one other channel is there, which is Akshay Sani. He is also an Indian programmer YouTuber. He basically is a software engineer at Uber, and basically he owns a YouTube channel which has over 2 lakh subscribers. So I think these channels are very much good. Akshay Sani YouTube channel is specifically for JavaScript. For how long I am doing programming? I'm doing it for almost 5 years, and it's very good journey, and basically I've understood a lot of concepts. So third, fourth. Also, let me add some. Okay, Gary's YouTube is saying, can you please tell me the best docs and way to learn Mongo? Dave Gray, Lama Dev. Yeah, I know these channels also. I think the best documentation that you can follow for MongoDB is their official website. You can go to their official website, MongoDB, and all the concepts are there. And specifically, there are some kinds of books are also available on MongoDB. Search on Amazon, and there are some awesome little books available, resources available. But the best way to use is to watch YouTube videos. There are various projects which are done by YouTubers, which is just type here MongoDB Node.js project, and you will be getting the list of all the projects which are there on the MongoDB. So the best way to is to program yourself on the topic. I have gone through your channel and you have a lot of good content across many languages. What is name first? YouTube name JS, can you repeat? What is name first? YouTube name JS, can you repeat? Sanjay Gupta, what is your question? What is name first? YouTube name JS, can you repeat? Akshay Seni, I wrote Akshay Seni. And basically these are the channels which are very much good. So destructuring, guys, as I already told you, destructuring is very good, which is first, second. Can you give me a roadmap for front-end development? What to learn like this? Basically, the first technologies you want to learn is HTML, CSS, JavaScript. These are the three technologies. If you can master this, basically just build a very simple projects, to-do list, and some games can snake game, tic-tac-toe game. After that, you can learn React.js, Vue.js, Angular, these three frameworks. I have written these channels: Akshay Seni, uh, Traversy Media, Web Dev Simplified, and Fireship, and Code with Harry. These are the 5 my favorite that I watch on a daily basis. So these 2 are for Hindi language and these 3 are for English language. Totally depends upon you which languages you are for. Please hit the like button, guys. Subscribe the channel as well if you're watching it for the very first time. I'm seeing that people are not liking the content. Only 15 likes are there. Please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So basically, guys, if you have any sort of questions, you can ask in the comment section. Destructuring, basically, it's a very good phenomena. If I just console log third. But for project building, you are the best. No, I am nowhere the best. I am just an average YouTuber. My English is also not good, and basically I copy the code sometimes from the other YouTubers. So I am not a best. As you can say, there are so much good programmers there in the YouTube journey. So you can't say that I am the best. Just third, you will see. I'm currently building a to-do list app with Vanilla.js. I'm trying to integrate NPM and keep it object-oriented. I'm finding it tough though. Do you have social media that I can contact you or can communicate with you if I have questions? I really want to master my HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Yeah, I have a WhatsApp group basically I have constructed. Your explanation is good, but please explain more. And which company do you work at this time? I am just a full-time blogger and YouTuber. I don't work for a company. I am just working from home. So if you want to join the WhatsApp group, guys, you can join the WhatsApp group. Basically, YouTube doesn't send you notification for every live stream that I do, so it's better to join the WhatsApp group. You can hear also, you can share the ideas that you want to share. So what I can say is that basically I'm just copy pasting the link of that WhatsApp group. So this is the let me search here, coding Shiksha. So just wait, kite. I'm just copy pasting the link here basically. Just wait, kite. So this is the YouTube channel, guys. Sorry. So I have copy pasted, guys. You can now see. Just join the WhatsApp group, guys. Already 78 members are present here. So kindly join the group and basically you can ask your questions here. Is Code with Harry enough for programming language? Please tell me. Yeah, he is a very tremendous YouTuber and basically he tells the concept in real detail. So I will highly recommend that you should definitely subscribe to his channel if you are specifically looking for Hindi language. He also makes the blackboard videos, whiteboard videos. It's very good. So please hit the like button guys, subscribe the channel. So it was just a problem of so kindly hit the like button guys, subscribe the channel as well if you're watching it for the very first time. Have you joined the WhatsApp group guys? So basically I'm seeing that people are joining the WhatsApp group. So basically in that group you can ask me any sort of doubt if you have any sort of doubt that you want to ask here. Yeah, Sanjay, yeah, my network was gone for some time, so now it is back. So destructuring can also be done inside, basically, if you want to do the destructuring inside arrays, this can also be done using objects as well. So basically, let's suppose we have an object here. So this will be a user object. It contains three properties, which is name, and we have age as well, which is 15. So let's suppose we only need the name from this object. We can simply say user, and if you see console log name, so if you just open with live server, so what will happen now, if you go to the console here, so you will see name is printed out. So you can now replace your age also. So if you want to access only the age, so destructuring simply means that only getting the things that you will need, not get the full things, only get the things that you need at that present moment. So you will see the age is extracted out from the object, which is 15 here. So let's suppose thousands and millions of properties are available inside this object. So destructuring is a very good programming concept. So it is used in import statements. So whenever you are importing any sort of module, so then in that case inside curly brackets you import only the properties and functions that you need from this library, not import the whole library. So this saves a lot of space whenever you are importing libraries inside your projects. So this concept of destructuring is used in that way. So if you're watching it for the very first time guys, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. No, destructuring, yeah, it is also used in Node.js, Express, React.js, especially with TypeScript. TypeScript import statement is only valid in TypeScript. So yeah, it is also used in Python as well. So basically whenever you import your modules, it can also be used in Python as well. So can you tell me guys which of the other concepts which are very much important after destructuring? Destructuring is one concept. Can you tell me some other concepts which are there for jobs? Promise chaining, modules. Please give some other example for destructuring. These are the basic examples in order to extract only the values from the object and arrays. So these are some of the concept. Basically, whenever you use the React.js project, search and rotated sorted array with binary search, please explained. So basically, if you search the concepts, JavaScript concepts for jobs 2022, just type this and yeah, this is a great option that you have given me. That is basically we can make a public get request to fetch some data. So let's suppose we fetch the weather and we fetch some kind of fake REST API. We call this fake REST API. So this is the, you can now see guys, this returning a JSON response to us. This is the endpoint. If I call this endpoint here, basically use fetch here, basically this will return a response by the promise. So we can simply first of all console log response. So this is a response guys. First of all we need to change this response to JSON. This will again return a promise, so then we will have the data. So you will see now we will have this object. This is the object which contains various information out there. This is, here we will be used destructuring guys, the concept of destructuring. So if you are fetching some data from a public API, so now you only need the information that you will need. Let's suppose we only need the brand name and the description. So we only need these two things. We don't need the whole object. For this case we will be destructuring the data. So we will simply say that let brand and description from this object. We will simply say console log brand and description. So you can see Apple and Apple mobile, which is nothing like Apple. So basically what will happen now, instead of this we can simply print it out. We can have a div, we can have a h1 tag, we can create that document.create element h1 h1.inner html, which is equal to brand document.body append child, and h1. Then we can have a description, which is paragraph document.create element p.inner html, which is equal to description, and then document.body append child, and which is the paragraph. So if you see guys, if you now open this Apple and an Apple mobile, which is nothing like Apple, so you can see that guys, we are only destructuring the information which we need. We can even change the endpoint to, let's suppose, 2. So this will now change Apple sim free like this. If you just change the endpoint to 3, it will change Samsung new variant, which goes beyond galaxy to the universe. This is the example guys. So basically in this example we are using destructuring to only fetch the information that we need. So this is the example which you will be used in every application whenever you are fetching some data from a API. Very basic example, and if you have any sort of doubt guys, you can ask in the comment section. So please hit the like button guys, subscribe the channel as well if you're watching it for the very first time. I'm seeing that people are not liking the content, only 17 likes are there, so just increase the like number to 30 likes. This is a like target, and also hit the subscribe button as well. So if you see the concepts guys which are there inside JavaScript, take this keyword concept, search in rotated array, good one, you're really good and explain it very well. Sanjay Gupta, I don't know about rotated sorted array with binary search, so at this moment I can't explain. So first of all I need to do some research, and then I will explain you in the next live stream. So you can see that guys, for jobs here, specifically for jobs in 2022, if you are a JavaScript developer, these are some of the things that you should know: expressions, types, variables, functions, objects, classes, object. So we haven't discussed about classes guys. JavaScript also provides some classes. If you can, basically classes are a very object oriented concept, but in modern web development classes are also available. So let's suppose if you declared a class, so inside this class guys, we can have methods, we can have variables which are only accessible to this class. We can have a variable here, let's suppose username, password. I think the variables are declared inside the class using constructor. Yeah, constructor function will be there, and username and age, or name, country, age. So here you can assign this dot name is equal to name, this dot country every what time you're live each day. Country, this dot age is equal to age. This is a constructor function, guys. So if we will have a simple function which will display the info to us. So we will simply say console log this dot name, this dot country, this dot age. So this is a method, guys. So after this we can create an object of this class, create an object of this class. You can say let user, new user. You can define a name which is Kane, and this new country will be New Zealand, and age will be 25. So we have defined this. Basically now we can call a method which is user dot display info. So if you execute this, guys, here it will display this information inside the console, which is Kane New Zealand 25. Because this method is present inside the class, and this is a constructor function, and basically whenever you create an object here, this constructor function calls itself automatically, passing these three values, which is name, country, age. So these are the variables which are assigned to this specific class by this keyword, this dot name, this dot country, this dot age. So we can access this like this. If you want to change the username, change info, we can simply call this, and basically here we can put name, country, age, and here we can change the this dot name to name, this dot country is equal to country, this dot age is equal to age. So now we can call this method, guys, which is user dot change info, and here we can change it to Smith, Australia 38 to 27. Now once again we can display this user dot display info. So what will happen now, guys, it will first of all be Kane New Zealand 25, and then it will change these values to Smith Australia 27. Serial wise it is executing these functions of these classes. You can now see. So classes is the object oriented programming concept, guys. You have studied this concept in Java, C, C++, but also it is there in JavaScript also. So it is a very underrated concept. Most of the developers doesn't use classes in JavaScript. Basically it is used in React.js, which is the class level components. So but it is replaced by functional components. It is very popular than class level components, but still you should know about classes in JavaScript. It's a very underrated concept, and object oriented programming is based completely on classes. Please hit the like button, guys. Subscribe the channel as well, because more and more people can join the live stream. So if you like this, YouTube will viral this live stream so that more and more people can join.